flies. So they walk up the hill at 6 o'clock in the morning and have a straight glide down. If they don't get another fly, they have got 4 kilometres under their belts. So that's 12 points already there for a funster. You only get to score 1 flight, your longest flight for the day. So you can go up for an early flight. If you're a really early airtime pilot and you just want to come up for the enjoyment of it, go for an early fly and then fold your wing up and have another fly at the end of the day in the glass off. It's all up to you to what you want to enjoy about it. We're not pushing you to fly in the middle of the day. So we then head up to the top of the hill, and we'll be on the active launch where the thermals are starting to come up or the ridge lift is coming up. Now, the secret with the state of origin is be prepared to fly, to push yourself to your comfortable limit. Don't go beyond your safety just to enjoy yourself, but be ready to stretch yourself and expand your knowledge. So, if there's people out the front that are out and they're staying up, my question is, why aren't you out there too? Don't sit on launch and wait for perfect conditions. That could have been half an hour ago. So if the air's going up, go out into it, try and get the thermal to get above launch or to go out. So Manila is made up, and then I hate this new software. Manila, the Mt Borah itself, is basically a square top mesa. So what will happen is the east side is going to be the warm one in the morning. You're usually going to get drainage, which is a northerly breeze. So sometimes you'll be taking off on the northeast very early, where the northerly comes down the thing and picks up. From there, what you've got is, here we go. So here is the east, and Godfrey's house is over here. We might turn the lights out. So Godfrey's house is out here, out near past the road, and this is coming up. You've got the short east bomb out here, the bomb out for the northeast over here. No, I don't want to go there.
Good job, you.
Yeah, right. Okay. And the short east here, where the fatality was, is down in here. The westerly bomb out is here, and here you've got the northeast launch, the easterly launch, southeasterly, southerly, and the westerly. The worst wind direction for Manila is a northwesterly, which is coming down this way. North is up. Okay, so in the morning, this side is going to be warmed up. You've got a flat top here with a depression that heads out down over this way here. So this area here is going to be warm all the way through the day. The westerly is the one that usually comes on in the afternoon, and it's going to be after daylight saving time. And what you can get is you're flying over here, and all of a sudden it gets warm enough and it starts cycling up the west. And you can have a short period where you can have people flying on both sides. Then the westerly will dominate. So I'm going to concentrate on the east and the west. So if you take off here on the east, you're down here in the southerly, you don't want to be down in here. You're going to push out, and if you're below ridge height, you you should be heading out along these ridge lines out to escape through the short east and out to the east. I've personally landed here amongst the trees and here amongst the trees. You don't come out over the east low. So you start following out along the ridge lines. Don't follow down the gullies where you're going to get pushed up, especially in a strong easterly. You run along the ridge lines where the trigger points are and you head out. On the west, come on. Southwest, there is an area down here that is like a bucket that's going to collect the wind that's going to push in here. If the wind is coming out of the west-northwest, do not be low in this area here between the road and the western takeoff. Okay, you head straight out. There's a ridge that runs down here that's a trigger point. If you don't get up over launch straight away, don't work your way down the hill. The best bet is if you're at takeoff level, come out, run down a trigger point, and of course observing this is the beauty of the state of origin. There's that many people in the air that you can spot where the lift air is lifting. And if I don't get up here, then there's a ridge that runs along the front of the west before the road here. That is a lovely trigger area, and then you can come back out. A bit further out, but this is a triangle of trees down here that's quite noticeable. And again, that's another area that thermals lift off quite well. That's a fair way out. The west is big, broad, and a beautiful takeoff area. So after you do that, it depends on the wind direction which way you're going to head out of Manila. So have a talk to your crew chief and say, okay, I'm ready to fly. You get up on launch, you get your gear out, you take your gear back off launch. You have a talk to him and he'll be going, oh guys, okay, there's a guy out there, he's starting to lift. We're going to head up along towards Bingra, or we're going to head out towards the Gap, or we're going to go across the Halls Creek Church. Okay? Stay with him and try and take off with him. If he's a good crew chief, he's going to say, okay guys, gear up now, we're going to try and catch the next thermal. And what he'll be doing is looking at the cycles coming up and when is the best time to take off through the cycle. On a windy day, then it's taking off just before the cycle gets to you so you can get off the hill and stabilise. On a low wind day, then you're going to be looking at trying to take off in the cycle to use that lift to get up. Know your crew chief and his wing, and if he's a good crew chief again, he'll be trying to get you into the thermal to get up to base, and then you fly away and you gaggle fly down the course with him. So if he gets you to Bingra, which is 100 kilometres, or 89 kilometres, that's almost 300 points for you. He's got to fly to the Queensland border to get the same amount of points. Okay, so...
Hey James, do many of the teams fly like that in the gaggle?
Yeah.
Canberra's good at it.
Yeah, KC2's real good at it. Yeah, that's how they've won over the years.
And Queensland too. Queensland have had it where Lofty, Brandon O'Donnell, gets his guys together and he gets the ones that are motivated, and he'll have one crew chief out there in the air spotting the thermal. Go, 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 off you go, fly out to him. He thermals up, another crew chief comes in underneath them and gaggles up through them. The other crew chief comes down, tops lands, and they do that to get the people up to launch. And once they're at cloud base, then they'll have crew chief and they'll take a couple of gaggles away with him.
system.
Yeah. And what I try to do on the Saturday and Sunday, try and get guys in the air, and if there's ones on the mount, then I'll launch if we get people up for a while, and then if there's guys that miss their gaggle or whatever, I'll take them and try and get them to go.
Alright.
So if you don't make it into the gaggle, if you don't make it up, don't get bitter and twisted. There's plenty of air, plenty of time. Grab the basher and go up for another fly. Now, I think the maximum at the state of origin was Magdi had 7 bomb outs in one day. And it was an advanced pilot. Oh, there's Manila. Okay. Secrets. Be ready to fly. Gear up, know your gear. Look at the air, look at what's happening. Ask questions, okay? Get into the air, enjoy your flying, enjoy the air, look around you, observe. So if there's a guy that's circling and he's going up in front of you, go to him. There's lifting the air there, okay? If you're looking, you miss it, then okay, look where else, okay? Manila itself, as I said, is a flat top. If you're on the west, what can happen is that the thermal comes up the front, and because it's flat like this on the top, it can bend like that before it gathers warm air off the top and it straightens back up again. So you're thermaling up, stay in the core, stay to the upwind side of the core, and move up into the thermal. Be ready to follow it. Thermals aren't just a straight line. You need to find the lifting area and to search it a little bit, okay? Don't fall out the back, and if you're low, then you're heading away from the hill, okay? Out to the saddle on the south side. If you're high enough above the hill, you can go over the back. But if you're high enough, we've had it where people have fallen out of the back of this bent thermal. They've followed the wig lift that's been blown off the back of the thermal, and then they've turned around and they try to head back, and they slide down the back of the thermal and top land in turbulent conditions. Don't top land on Manila as a low airtime pilot. It's better to head around and go out for altitude, and you can pick up a thermal out the back on the lead, okay? Right, don't forget, mountains have rotor behind them. Okay, so you land. You've done your, who's looking at 50k flights? Who's looking at 100k flights? Excellent. I like that. Okay, who hasn't done a 20k flight? Who's coming? Okay, so that's your goal for the weekend. If you get to Bingra, you're way over that. Oh, sorry, Barraba, you're way over that. That's 30 odd, over 30 k's. So for that, you've got to pick up at least 3 thermals after Mt Borah. So patience, observation, and having an idea of where thermals will break off. It's the trigger points that are the secret for that. So you get up on Mt Borah, and you look ahead, and there's only 50 people in front of you showing where not to go and where to go. So where do you go? The people that are going up, and staying away from the people that are going down. Okay, run along, pick up your next thermal, glide, pick up your next thermal, glide, pick up your next thermal, and now you're over Barraba. It's easy as that.
So James, on that then, if you're in a thermal, like generally you try and hang in it and get decent height out of a thermal, but if you feel like the gaggle in front is leaving you behind, are you best to pull out and try and keep up with the gaggle, or are you best to maximise your climb and get to 2.7 before you peel out?
If you're looking at 20 k's for a PB, maximum height, but don't get separated from your gaggle. So you can take another 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and you can still see the guys in front. This is again observation.
Yeah.
And as soon as they start turning,
Go for it.
yeah, you'll come in much lower because they've got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There's 5 minutes of separation, and it's quite difficult at that stage to find the lift because the separation is way too much.
You should, if you come in upwind of them though, aren't you? That's what you're trying to do.
If you're running downwind, then you're upwind of them anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that at that level where you're still very tentative, maximise your height for a good glide.
Yeah.
On the other hand, an advanced pilot who's racing may pull out of a thermal only 3/4 of the way up. He's hit a slow patch and he reckons that it's going to be faster than pushing through that slow patch. He's going to be pushing on and find another thermal, go up fast to that slow patch, and then he'll go on again. So it's depending on your skill level, but height is safety. But if you're doing half meters where the thermal was a 2 meter thermal, you're not in the thermal anymore. Okay, if you see someone ahead of you, head off. If there's no one ahead of you and it's looking, I don't know what to do, maximise your height and then move on. But the longer you stay in a weak thermal, the further the longer you are going to take to cover kilometres. So you've then landed. The State of Origin uses a drop pin system. We don't use GPSs and download the tracks. So what you do is take a look around you, near the road, names of places. There'll be landmarks around you, and we can help you with that when you get back. But when you get back, you open up the computer, you open up the web page for the scoring, and you drag a pin to where you landed, and it scores you from there. Okay, so you can change it from the road map to a satellite map, so you can find, okay, I was near the tree with the brown cow in it. Unfortunately, Google doesn't have the brown cow. Okay, so landed at Bingra. The Bingra sign might say 105 kilometres to Manila. That's not 105 kilometres that you've flown, that's 105 road miles. So you're 14 kilometres out of town at Mt Borah, and you're flying a straight line. Once you've scored, you're cool. If you haven't scored and it's dark and you're on the road waiting for a lift or waiting for your retrieve and it's getting near to time, you get your phone out and send a WhatsApp to the WhatsApp group that we've just formed today for the State of Origin, okay? And tell them, okay, Pilot 53 landed safe, 13 kilometres or 50 kilometres or 150 kilometres or 300 kilometres. These days it's up to 400 kilometres, but not in April. Okay, again, you have your dinner, you have a beer, you have a sleep, repeat. Up in the morning, listen to the briefing, and off you go. There's talks of an evening for the State of Origin. There'll be different talks on different things. Any questions?
Where are those evening talks at?
Headquarters.
Oh, yes.